Here's a review for the 2020 RX 350 F Sport. It's here and it's a lot of fun. Let's get into it. This fourth generation finally got a nice little refresh, and it is pretty much everything we've been asking for. This is the F Sport trim. I'm going to go over a little walk around with you guys to show you the differences between this model and then let's say the 2019 in comparison. This one really does look a lot like its little brother, the NX and its F Sport, guys. You see these little slots right here, that extra plastic that we see in the F Sport NX. Down below that, this little triangle here, that is where the fog lights go, and the fog lights are optional now. This particular model is not equipped with them. And at the bottom here you see this largely redesigned bottom lip of the RX. It's pretty stunning. It does look a lot more modern than the previous version, and around the edges we have a darkened chrome, which is a big difference from the last or let's should say the last refresh, and that it was all blocky, chunky, bright chrome, and this dark chrome around the outside of the iconic mesh grille really looks sharp. It makes this car look a lot more aggressive, and I think that's definitely what Lexus is going for. The headlights here, these are the standard headlights. You can get the optional triple beams. As you guys know, if you follow my channel, I'm a big fan of those triple beam LED headlights. However, these still look great. They really did a good job updating these lights here, and during the daytime, this portion right here, this little part right here is much brighter than the rest of it. At nighttime, this dims, and it's unanimous brightness throughout the check mark. So it looks super sharp at night. During the daytime, it looks good, but it looks a lot better at night in my opinion. Here we have the atomic silver, looking good as ever, and with the rising sun, the atomic silver is just stunning. It's one of our best colors we have, and it never fails to disappoint. Special thanks to Lexus of Omaha for providing this car, guys. I'll put the information in the link below. They're a Lexus Plus dealer, no negotiation, upfront pricing, and just a very pleasant way to do business in the car industry. We have the same 20-inch wheels that we had on the previous F Sport. They look good. I don't think they've aged at all. I think they look perfectly fine. Some of you might would have liked a different style of wheel. You can get a different style of wheel for the luxury build and then the base trim as well, but I really think these look pretty darn good still, and when it's matched with atomic silver or the nebula gray pearl, it is absolutely stunning. Of course, you have the F Sport badge there on the side, and just appreciate the paint, guys, as I walk around this vehicle, because it is a sight to behold. And of course the background is helping a little bit. Hopefully the wind noise isn't too bad for you guys. I got a dead cat on my mic. Hopefully stepping up my reviews a little bit for you guys, a little bit better quality, and I know you guys have been waiting for me to get back into reviews for a while. The back end here, the back end looks very much the same, but there are some differences. The exhaust tips are more squinty, just like the headlights are a little bit more squinty in this model. They look a little bit sharper, a little bit meaner. And then you have this rear diffuser in the back that's only on the F Sport model. I think it looks really good, really sharp. The rear taillights, they are the same, at least from what I can tell. I can't tell a difference between these taillights and a 2019. I don't know if they change if you get the optional headlight package. That's something I don't know, but they still look good. They still look modern. They look very appropriate for this RX. And look at this little touch here. This is a darkened chrome as well, which is a huge step up for them, just understanding that the F Sport does deserve every little update there. However, we don't get the darkened chrome around the windows, which for me would have been huge. I have the same observation on the ES F Sport. They do a good job with the front and the back, the dark chrome, but they don't do it on the windows, which is an opportunity that they could improve upon. And I just want to give you guys one last look at this atomic silver. I'm going to start in the sunlight. We're going to go to a little neutral light here, and then we're going to finish in the shade, and you can just see how much contrast this color has. It's so stunning. We're going to get on the inside of this brand new 2020 RX 350 F Sport, and we're going to turn it on. That's the first thing we're going to do. You'll see a little startup screen here on both monitors. A little RX F Sport right there. Now the biggest difference most of you will notice in here is this updated screen, which looks a lot better. It is about 6 inches forward now. It is a touchscreen, and this navigation is cutting edge for Lexus. This is what we call the Generation 11, and it's a big step up. I haven't played with it too much, but just based off of the responsiveness and the detail that it has in there, as well as how fast it updates when you're driving, it is a big step up for Lexus. And of course, this new generation system gives you Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. This 2020 RX is the first vehicle for Lexus that provides Android Auto. Some other small things in the interior. I'm not going to do a full recap on the interior. I've reviewed these cars so many times before. I'm just going to go over the differences between this 2020 and then the previous 16 through 19s, which are all fairly identical. So the first thing, we're just going to go down from the screen, which is a big step up. These knobs are new. Not that any of you would probably care, but they feel pretty premium. They feel bigger than the old knobs. The start button is new. Gone is the little bulbous one with the little light in the middle. We have this now premium start button that we see in like the new ES and the new UX, as well as the RC has it. The heated and ventilated seats haven't moved at all. They're still back here. This is a big step up here, which is the USBs. This was a complaint, not only of mine, but of many people, and Lexus addressed it, and they did a great job. You have 2 USBs here. You have a 12 volt right here. You have a phone holder here, which, let's test my phone real quick. Pixel 2 XL, it's a pretty fat phone, and it holds it no problem. And there's a rubber sleeve in here, so you can, I mean, it cushions it. Your phone cannot flop around in there. It is cushioned, so that's not a nice little feature. Thank you, Lexus, for doing that. The adjustable cup holder has not changed, which I'm happy about because you can fit your tall Starbucks drinks in there. We still have the scored aluminum right here, which I love. And then the Sport Plus mode. So there are some differences with this car. It does have the active suspension that we see from the LC500, which is a nice step up. We have, of course, paddle shifters, which are going to be on every RX F Sport, at least the ones 16 and newer. So nothing has really changed around the steering wheel. Nothing has changed back here, except some additional menus for some of the updated safety features like road sign assist and things like that. This is your light control, and what's different here is that there's no fog light button that was standard on all the previous 16 through 19 RXs, but if you do get the 16, let's say a 2020 that has fog lights, you'll see that little switch right here. Over here is your heated steering wheel, your panoramic 360 camera. I'll give you guys a view of that. Your heads-up display, which hopefully, let's see if we can zoom in on it, you should be able to see right there, and you can customize. This is my favorite heads-up display in all of the Lexus vehicles, probably up there with the LS and the LC500. Those are a little bit bigger than this one, but this one you can really do a good job of customizing, so it is a top tier heads-up display. Another big difference is this touchpad. This has been seen in all of the Lexus vehicles, or at least a lot of the modern ones. Now we got rid of the mouse, which is still found in the LX and the GS, but now we have this touchpad here, which is funny because I'm so used to this touchpad, I rarely ever use the touch screen. It's kind of bizarre. So, and then the touch screen, how useful is it? Well, I think it would be very, very useful for people in the passenger seat, but if you're driving, I do think the touchpad is still more convenient. So people have been asking for a touch screen in conjunction with the touchpad, and you have both. Now you have the option. Now behind the touchpad, this used to open up. This used to be what I would call the chapstick case or the coin case, but this is now closed. It is just kind of a little armrest for the touchpad integration. Inside here, we are going to have USBs and a 12 volt just like the previous years. We do have this large panoramic sunroof, which is going to bring a lot of light in here, which I probably should have opened earlier. So I had a little bit more light to record, but panoramic sunroof always looks good, and it is a welcome addition in this RX. Getting in the back here, I'm not going to go over too much, but the biggest difference back here, let's check this out. You guys see this? Let me zoom in for you. Look at this. We have 2.1 quick charging USBs down here, which couldn't be any more welcome in a modern vehicle. I'm just so grateful that Lexus put those in there, and it couldn't come at a better time. Still have the armrest here with the standard cup holders, so nothing different in the back except for the USBs, which is perfectly fine. That's really all the back needs. We have reclining seats. They're super comfortable. They are some of the best seats in the class. In the back here, same cargo space as always. I have a couple of my bags back here. They fit back here perfectly fine. You could put a lot of stuff back here. We have the F Sport mats, which haven't been installed yet. We have the cargo net. We have the F Sport cargo tray mat back here. And then of course the standard tonneau cover, which comes standard in all our X's. We have of course the first aid kit, which is standard in every Lexus. And then the two levers back here that fold down the rear seats. It's time to drive the revised, the refreshed 2020 RX. This one in the F Sport trim. What I have noticed after being in this car a little bit is that it's even smoother than the 2019 and the 2016 to the 2019 models. It is just a very, very, very refined product. And many times I've said, oh, I'll take the GX over the Lexus because, or sorry, the GX over the RX because the GX is just a smoother vehicle. I'm not saying the RX is caught up to it yet and just how smooth it is, but it's pretty darn close. It is very impressive. And this thing with the active suspension in this particular trim, the F Sport trim, with the active suspension, it can handle the curves a little bit more. I'll put it into Sport Plus mode around the turn here. It does have a cool box that is a cold air intake that a lot of tuners like to do. And this thing just handles the turns so effortlessly, so smoothly. Something that you wouldn't really expect from an SUV of this size. It does it very well. Handling this roundabout, I'm still in Sport Plus mode, and it's gonna do it no problem. It would do it in normal mode. In any RX, it would handle this roundabout no problem. And to really be able to push this car to its limits, you'd still probably need to go to a track, which is pretty crazy because this is just like a family hauler SUV with a little bit of a sport package. And now for 2020, you can get this car in F Sport trim in two different options. One's more of an appearance package. The other, like this one, is what's called the performance package. And so that gives you the cold air intake. They don't say it adds any horsepower, at least on paper. I'm sure it does. And it gives you a very audible difference in how it sounds. It sounds very, very different, especially at the high rev ranges compared to the standard RX. Driving dynamics, I have driven the standard RX and this one as well, and one of the things I complained about the previous generation RX was that the transmission was not up to my liking. It liked to upshift too soon. It wouldn't let you rev out the revs unless you floored it, then it would rev out the revs. Well, now it does a lot better job with the fueling as well as understanding when to upshift. So it is a much, much better car to drive, especially in town as a result. So we're gonna merge onto the freeway here, and I'll let you guys listen. So right at the top of the rev range, once you get to about 5,500 RPM, that's when this motor gets that extra note from the cold air intake. I feel like they've really done a good job tuning the sound. It's not like gonna blow your mind. It still sounds very similar to the current RX, or I should say the non-F Sport edition. However, right at the top of the rev range is where you get a little extra excitement, a little extra fun out of the motor and the sound too. Now, something I wasn't a big fan of with the previous one was the 8-speed gearbox and on the highway. And when you would hit the gas, if you wanted to pass someone, there would be a delay, it would downshift. And it's not just with the RX, it's the vast majority of modern vehicles out there. When you get on the gas, does it respond to you quick enough? Well, I'm gonna test that right now. I'm going 60 and a 70, 3, 2, 1, punch. It downshifted quick, but it realized it wasn't the right gear, so it downshifted again. At least it got me going. The previous one, it wouldn't do that. It would hesitate and just pick a gear, instead of this one at least picks something and goes and then picks the right one a little bit later. So you do have a little bit of a delayed response, but it does feel better than the previous generation RX. Out on the freeway here, it's as quiet as ever. It's still a sublime ride. It is just perfect of a ride. It's still one of the best choices you can get, not only the luxury market SUVs, but just in general, because if you plan on taking trips, if you have a family or you want to use this vehicle for utility, it is still kind of the jack of all trades for Lexus. It does everything and it does it really well. It doesn't excel really at anything, but it does everything well, and that's what you want it to. And I would say it excels at comfortability. I would say it excels at quietness. It is just a great all-around vehicle that is even better in this 2020 model. It's smoother. I wouldn't say it's quieter, but I would say the ride's better. The transmission has been revised. They got Apple CarPlay. They have Android Auto. They have more USBs. The styling is better, and there's probably more things that I'm missing as well. The handling's better. It drives more like an NX when you push the car to a little bit more to its limits. So it handles more like an NX. Did I say RX? It handles more like an NX than the previous generation RX did, and that's a good thing. But you still get the comfortable, wide, longer wheelbase ride of the RX. So it's even smoother, it turns in better, it handles better than the previous generation RX. It is a step above in every single way. Would have been nice to get a little extra horsepower, at least have something that would push it to the next level for the F Sport trim. Yes, at least we got a cold air intake. That is something. The revised styling does look really good in this car, and I have no complaints really overall. I think they have really embodied the Kaizen mentality, which is in Japanese it means continual improvement, and this is a continual improvement over the best-selling SUV on the market, which is its previous self, the 2019 RX, and it has been for a long time now. As I come to a stop here, the braking is phenomenal, which it was in the 2019s as well. So I don't think they really changed anything with the brakes, nor do they have to, in my opinion. Are the brakes any bigger on the F Sport? No, they're not. I don't think that it is the case on any of our vehicles that are F Sports, except the LS 500 F Sport does have bigger brakes, but the rest of the vehicles have the same brakes as the standard model. Ooh, that is a very good looking LX 470 there. Ooh, if you guys watch my channel, you know that's one of my favorite vehicles. As you guys can tell, we're on a pretty crummy road right now. Lots of construction. It's very uneven. The RX is handling it just as I would expect it to. I'm just going to put it back in normal mode, and Lexus does a good job. Even when it's in Sport Plus, it doesn't stiffen up the suspension unless it senses you're in a turn. Does not feel any stiffer in Sport Plus mode unless you're pushing it to its limits just a little bit. It is a softer ride, so it's really hard to put into words how they did it, because it's a softer ride. It's got the same wheels, so we know it's not a wheel thing. The suspension has been updated, not just in the F Sport, but in the standard model as well. So it's a softer ride, it's a smoother ride, which is already a soft and smooth ride to begin with. And it just does it even better. We're gonna pull into this beautiful neighborhood here, sneak around this X5, and we're gonna finish up this review, which has been an absolute pleasure and a joy to review this car, get back into reviewing, which you guys know I love to do. It's what my channel started on. And we're gonna pull off to the side here and finish it up. The 2020 RX is excellent. It is going to continue to be the best-selling luxury vehicle in this segment. But after all these updates, all the USB ports, we have 6 of them now. We have the touchscreen, we have Android Auto, we have Apple CarPlay, we have revised styling, we have a touchpad, we have a very improved transmission and how it responds to the driver's inputs. You have a much better suspension. And it was already great to begin with. It's even smoother, and it's a better ride, and it does handle a little bit more nimble, just like its little brother, the NX. Overall, this is the complete package. Oh, and I haven't even talked about the Mark Levinson sound. It still sounds phenomenal, just like it always does. What are the drawbacks? Are there any drawbacks to the new 2020 RX? Not really. That's the crazy thing. And you guys know how honest I am. Yes, would I like to see more electric powertrains other than the standard hybrid? Yes, I think that would be the best thing that I would want to do in this RX, as well as a really high top tier horsepower variant, maybe something around 350 horsepower. That would be a designated RXF. I think that would be really cool, but the offerings we have are going to suit the vast majority of potential buyers. Those things are just things that I would like to see as a car enthusiast. They're not necessary for the average buyer for this vehicle. So overall, the car is nearly perfect. Don't know what else to say. Thanks to Lexus of Omaha for providing this car for me to review. Check out their website down in the description below. And I look forward to talking to you guys down in the comments because this thing is that good. I really can't find anything to complain about it. As you guys know, I will... In my previous RX reviews, I have pointed out some of the things I wasn't a big fan of. This car pretty much remedies every single thing, and it is the full embodiment of the Lexus philosophy of Kaizen, the continual improvement. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Until next time, peace out.